come up on 8 o'clock on your Sunday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Joseph Holloway.
And I'm Hayley Fixler, and it looks beautiful outside because it is going to be a great day, even though it's a little bit on the cold side.
Chilly right now.
Yes, Melissa Lefevre, you brought half the good day for us.
50-50. I mean,
this morning, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning Moscow that it is causing a deep hatred for Russia among Ukrainians.
His strong words come as Russian forces continue to attack Ukraine. The recent aerial bombings have killed hundreds of innocent people and destroyed cities. Millions of Ukrainians have now fled the country. Zelensky is demanding Western nations provide a fraction of the military hardware in their stockpiles. Several countries had promised to send anti-armor and anti-aircraft missiles. Zelensky says Kyiv needs tanks, planes, and anti-ship systems. NATO has not backed his request for a no-fly zone over Ukraine. There have been concerns that this could provoke a war involving more countries.
Ціна цієї безпеки.
He says, quote, the price of procrastination with planes is thousands of lives of Ukrainians. Now, earlier this month, the White House rejected a surprise offer by Poland to transfer fighter jets to a U.S. base in Germany. The hope was they could be used to replenish Ukraine's Air Force. And the FBI and White House officials have put out another warning that there's evidence of a credible cyber threat. On Pump Patrol this morning. Gas prices slowly coming back down in North Carolina, so some good news there. The average price for a gallon of regular unleaded is $4.04, and in Raleigh and Durham, it is $4 flat. Right now, 2 people are dead after they were shot in Durham. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night.
Durham police tell us that when
And it was a violent weekend in Raleigh. Police responded to multiple shootings all across the city. At least 2 of them are now considered homicide investigations. Officers were called to an apartment complex off of Crosslink Road just after 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Investigators confirmed they found a man dead inside of one of those units. Police have not released information about a possible suspect or a motive. Flight instructor and a student pilot are expected to recover after a small plane crash. So we're told that they were the only people on board that training aircraft that went down near Smithfield in Johnston County Friday afternoon. The Blue Line Aviation says 1 person has now been released from the hospital. The NTSB and FAA are still investigating the crash. Right now, state health leaders continue to track COVID levels in our sewer systems. Experts say rising levels of the virus in sewage can be an early warning sign of a surge of cases. Officials say they need to be doing a better job of reaching rural parts of the state.
it's a little bit more
Governor's
difficult.
office confirms human remains have been found in Cumberland County.
Yeah, this is so sad. A jogger made that grim discovery along Evans Dairy Road more than a week ago. Investigators say they've notified the family of Robert Fortner. You can see him right there. Right now, they're still trying to determine how the 46-year-old man died. Detectives are now trying to track down 2 Fayetteville men who they believe may be connected. So look at this. Officials say Jeffrey Beal and Ryan Stewart, right there on your screen, were seen in Fortner's car just days before his disappearance. If you have any information, you're asked to call Fayetteville Police. A North Carolina fire chief was shot at a restaurant. 1 person was also injured. Winston-Salem police now have 2 suspects in custody. Officers say Walkerton Fire Chief Ross Flint was eating lunch with other firefighters when 2 people in a vehicle drove up and started shooting. Flint was hit, and so was another man who was leaving the restaurant. 2 men face multiple charges now, including assault with a deadly weapon and trafficking heroin. Right now, an uncontained wildfire is spreading in Colorado. At least 19,000 people have already been evacuated. The fire started in Boulder yesterday. It's already burned through 126 acres. Now, this fire is just south of the National Center for Atmospheric Research, but we're told the center is not directly in the wildfire's path.
Live for us tonight to explain how a new class action lawsuit could help thousands of people. Hayley.
Yeah, there are several steps involved in this process, but the good news is there is a website that can help navigate you through everything, and it's called Resolve Traffic Debt NC. It's partially funded by the DMV, and it walks you through all of your different rights and how you can possibly even get your license reinstated. People we spoke with today, though, they say they have mixed emotions about these new rules.
Speeding tickets can be pricey, and some may not be able to pay up if they're pulled over.
It's hard for us to, just pay the few bills that we do have to pay. So that could be real detrimental to a lot of our households.
Nayla Whetstone says she hasn't gotten a speeding ticket recently, so she wasn't aware that if you don't pay the fine in a timely manner, you could lose your license.
I think that that's real ridiculous. I couldn't. I have 4 children, and it's hard just taking care of what I do have to take care of.
However, a federal judge just signed off on a class action lawsuit involving the North Carolina DMV. The settlement requires the DMV to reach out to about 185,000 drivers to let them know they're now eligible to request a court hearing. At that hearing, they'll be able to show they didn't pay the fees because they couldn't afford it. They could be relieved of their debt and get their licenses reinstated.
I think that's awesome.
The DMV will send out this form to cited drivers, allowing them to ask for a fee waiver upon request until September. But not everyone thinks it's fair.
I don't think it should excuse them from paying, because if I got a fine, I would like to be excused too.
Karen Doran tells me that she thinks letting people off the hook isn't a good plan.
The more people speed, the more often, the more chance you have of either causing an accident, getting in an accident.
She says there's another way to make this fair for everyone.
It can be a good idea for those people who are on fixed incomes and couldn't afford it at that time, that they wouldn't allow them to make some sort of payment arrangement or something.
Now, the DMV is also now required to send out a notice to people letting them know that they can petition the court to get help with their fines and their fees. Before, the DMV notice only indicated the very hard deadline that you would have to pay up or you could get your license suspended. I'm going to have the links to the websites that could help you out on this story on our website, CBS17.com. Angela, Rod.
All right, Haley, thank you. Against this proposed rezoning.
Yeah, and this is why. This family's property backs up right to the woods. You can see there's a play set out here. They really enjoy being out and about close to nature. But if this development gets the green light, there's going to be homes built just about 20 feet from where we're standing.
What did Alan say? We have our girls. We play out in this backyard all the time. We have a lot of neighborhood kids.
Charlietown and his family spend a lot of time outside their Nido home, bird watching and learning about nature.
We bought this hoping that it would stay green, stay beautiful.
That could soon change. The towns were alerted about a week ago that a new development could be built right where these trees stand.
I think they're going to squeeze 7 lots in right in here.
People we spoke with in the Carrington Woods neighborhood near Widewaters Parkway are not happy. These rendering maps on the town's website shows these trees on one side of Mingo Creek Trail would be torn down to make way for the new 291 home community.
It's so quiet back here. Like, I'll walk out in the mornings and see deer.
Tyler Sweet isn't just upset he might lose his view. He's concerned about the proximity of the new development to his home.
They've said about 20 feet.
But there's another problem.
There's only 2 entrances into our neighborhood, and all that traffic will run through our neighborhood and Widewaters area. So it's going to create a bunch of havoc, and then getting out of our neighborhood's hard enough as it is because there's only one light. So it's going to make things a lot harder.
We saw the traffic build up ourselves. We even stopped by Town Hall to find out if there's a plan to add roads and infrastructure to handle the increased population. No one was able to speak with us. Sweet is worried what his community could turn into.
You can see Raleigh has developed so much, and it's gone from being, a city of oaks to a concrete jungle, which is awful to see. And now it's, pushing back out to Knightdale.
Now, I've not yet heard back from town officials, but per the town website, the next meeting about this development is set to be on March 28th. Families I spoke with say they do intend to fight this as much as they can. Live in Knightdale, Hayley Fixler, CBS 17 News.
We'll see what happens. Others. CBS 17's Hayley Fixler has been following this story. Hayley, how's the investigation going?
Well, town officials tell me they are still investigating. The state fire marshal's office is helping them, and they do hope to have some answers on how this fire started in the next week or so.
Please, I know somebody in here, please.
A pink bouquet has been tucked into the wire fence that now surrounds this blackened and charred building at the Orella Carey Apartments.
We had to jump off the 3rd floor to get out of there.
It's been 1 week since the flames killed a 9-month-old baby and critically injured a 28-year-old woman. The Cary Fire Department's 128-page inspection report shows there had been some serious fire safety concerns just days before.
If I come out and I find fire protection equipment not in service, I'm certainly going to question why.
North Carolina Senior Deputy Fire Marshal Engineer Rob Regner tells me this is not something they take lightly.
The inspections of fire protection equipment, that would be smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, things like that. That's the responsibility of the apartment complex owner.
The report also shows there's no fine issued against the Orella Carey Apartments for violating state fire code. Regner tells me the fines are decided by officials in each city or town. In areas like Cary and Raleigh, fire marshals will often just come back to check things out.
Reinspection is really the only resolve for that.
Do you think that's enough?
You know, in some cases it can be, and in some cases it isn't. You know, that's really the apartment owner that has to take an active role in their safety of their residents.
The inspection report shows violations in other buildings, like missing and unchecked extinguishers. I called Arella Cary's property management group in Virginia, and I left another voicemail.
We wanted to check in with you about when those problems would be remedied in the other buildings.
Now, fire inspections are done annually. I asked if this fire and the other fires in the area recently will change the inspection schedule. I was told that's really up to the building council and the community if people do want to have those inspections more frequently. And of course, if you do notice any fire safety hazards or concerns in your apartment, you should contact your local fire marshal's office. Live in Cary, Hayley Fixler, CBS 17 News.
All right.